Welcome to Movie Galaxy. Anna Fritz, a famous movie star, is brought into the funeral home by a worker after she died in a bathroom during a private party. Her autopsy is planned for the next morning. The worker places her body with the others, uncovers her face, and secretly takes a photo with his phone. Later, Ivan and Javi arrive at the same hospital and ask to see the worker. Powell meets them in the lobby, and Ivan asks if he has more photos for them to see and laughs about it, telling Powell they're going to a party. Ivan asks Powell if he wants to join them, but Powell says he has to work until midnight, which is in an hour. They tell him to find a place where they can do a line. Powell takes them behind the dumpsters and warns them not to touch the yellow one because it's for human waste. The three friends make a toast to the recently deceased Anna Fritz, and then Powell tells them to hurry. Ivan asks about her body and if Powell has seen it. When Powell says he has, Javi winces. Powell explains that her body will stay in the hospital's funeral home until the next day. Powell takes them inside the hospital. Javi thinks they're just joking and won't really go to the funeral home, but Ivan keeps pressuring Powell. They take the elevator to the basement. When they reach the funeral home, Powell unlocks the door and leads them inside. Javi wants to leave because he's afraid they'll get caught and won't be able to talk their way out of it. The others convince him to stay, and Powell takes them to see the actress's body. When both of them stand next to it, Javi admits he feels creeped out because he's never seen a dead body before. Powell pulls the sheet off, and they jump back when they see it's actually an old woman. He laughs at them, and Ivan asks to see Anna Fritz. They walk over, and Powell uncovers Anna's face, but Ivan quickly uncovers it more. Powell comments that she doesn't even look dead. Ivan grabs her breasts and tells Javi to try it too. Javi hesitates, but finally puts his hand on her chest, saying she's cold. Ivan wants to do another line there, but Javi just wants to leave and go to the party. Powell covers the body, and then he and Javi join Ivan for one more line. Ivan says that everyone would want to be intimate with the actress and uncover her entirely. They have a disturbing conversation about what it would be like to be with a dead woman, and Powell admits he has done it before. Ivan asks if he did it with Anna Fritz, and Javi jokes that Powell will probably do it after they leave. Ivan then says he wants to be with her, which disgusts Javi. Javi tells him they should leave because he's drunk. Powell seems fine with Ivan's idea and tells Javi, who wants to get out of there, to wait in another room until the necrophiliac is finished, then pushes him inside. Javi can't believe his friend would do something like that. When Powell peeks through the door, he sees Ivan getting ready to do business with the dead body. Javi panics in disbelief and calls both of them sick. Powell doesn't agree, so when Ivan comes back, he goes out to do the same thing. Javi is the only one who sees how wrong it is, but Ivan keeps coming up with twisted explanations, just as degrading to living women, about why he should try it too. Powell starts doing his business with the actress when she suddenly opens her eyes. To make things even worse, Anna is actually alive. When Powell finally realizes this, he freaks out. The other two rush into the funeral home, and the woman stares at them from the slab, lying still and unable to move. Javi is the first to approach her. He tells her to calm down and tells the others to get her some water. When they don't move, he grabs the water himself and gives it to her. While the others panic, Javi asks Powell if they should call a doctor or take her upstairs to the hospital. Javi then asks the woman if she's cold and goes to get something to cover her with. Ivan asks if she saw him and if she knows what really happened, but deep down, he knows she did see him. Powell comes back and puts a medical gown on Anna. Ivan stops him, saying they need to think the situation through carefully. Suddenly, they hear someone coming to the funeral home and realize they need to hide. Javi argues that they should stay and explain, but they still cover her face and crouch down. An orderly rolls another dead body into the funeral home, and Anna tries to call him over, but she can barely make a sound. She manages to pull the cover off, but he doesn't see her and walks away. Javi quickly goes back to her side to calm her, but Ivan tells him to go to the other room and talk it out. Powell and Ivan panic, worrying about what would happen if anyone found out what they did, saying that because she's famous, it would make headlines everywhere, from newspapers to TV. Javi doesn't care about that. He just wants to help her. Ivan and Powell hint that because everyone thinks she's dead, they should kill her, but Javi refuses to even discuss it and doesn't care that they were both involved. Ivan and Javi fight, and Ivan punches him nearly to death before Powell can stop him. Powell checks and says Javi is breathing but losing a lot of blood. Ivan apologizes as Powell comes back with a sheet for his head. Ivan suggests calling someone, but instead they decide to leave Javi somewhere in the hospital where he'll be easily found. They drag him to another room and put him in a corner. Javi is barely alive. Ivan tells Javi to lie to the police if they question him, warning him not to mention Anna, then leaves with Powell to clean up. Suddenly, another orderly enters the funeral home, and Powell goes to meet him while Ivan keeps Anna quiet. Powell explains that the night shift orderly had locked him in. When the man asks to see Anna Fritz's body, Powell manages to get him out and leaves Anna and Javi alone with Ivan. Ivan checks on Javi, but he's already dead. He tries to resuscitate him as Anna cries. Powell comes back, and Ivan tells him that Javi has died. The orderly cries, and Ivan says that even if they had taken him upstairs, he wouldn't have survived because he was in such bad shape. Powell says they'll spend their whole lives in jail, but Ivan tells him they'll get rid of Javi's body too. Anna asks if they haven't already done enough evil and says she won't tell anyone. Ivan grabs Powell and tells him to ignore her, saying what they do next will mark the rest of their lives. They argue, and Ivan tries to manipulate Powell into thinking they are equally at fault and that if anything comes out, everyone will know what he did. Meanwhile, Anna gets down from the slab and searches Javi's pockets for his phone. Ivan asks Powell how they can get Javi's body out of the hospital in a trash can. Powell says they can use the emergency door. Once inside, they see Anna on the phone. She tells them she called her father and only said that she woke up. Ivan checks the phone and realizes she's called someone. Anna tells him her father is coming to help her. They think it's over since she called from Javi's phone, so they take her upstairs. Suddenly, an unknown number calls Javi's phone. Ivan answers it while Anna screams, and Powell tries to keep her quiet. Ivan realizes the call didn't go through completely and that she lied to them. They take her back to the funeral home. Ivan hits Anna and argues with her. When she tells him it's no wonder he rapes dead bodies because he's disgusting, he tells Powell to tie her up while he goes to get a trash can. Powell grabs some gauze and starts cutting it up. Anna warns him that if he does what Ivan says, he'll really end up in jail. She tells him he isn't a murderer and can't let Ivan kill her, saying she's alive because of him and won't say anything. She begs him to let her go, but Powell ties her up anyway. Anna tells Powell that Ivan killed Javi in front of her while he was out of the room and that he never planned to take him to the hospital. Powell thinks she's lying again and puts tape over her mouth. Meanwhile, Ivan goes to get a trash can but gets trapped outside because some nurses go out to smoke. While Powell cleans the other room, Anna removes the tape and tries to get the restraints off her hands. She can't, but she manages to free her legs. Anna drops to the floor and crawls out of the funeral home, hiding just in time before Ivan returns. When Ivan comes back, he tells Powell that she escaped, and they split up to search for her through the maze of hallways. Anna manages to avoid capture for a while, crawling through the halls. She eventually gets back on her feet, but falls again and crawls toward the elevator. Just when she thinks she's safe, Ivan grabs the door and drags her back to the funeral home. Powell returns and asks Ivan if he killed Javi while Powell wasn't around. Ivan says Anna is trying to turn Powell against him. Back inside, Ivan is ready to kill her and tells Powell they will suffocate her with bedsheets. Powell doesn't want to do it, and neither does Ivan at first, but in the end they decide to go through with it. They suffocate her, and she urinates on herself during the struggle. Powell helps Ivan lift her back onto the slab, and then they put Javi's body into the trash. Ivan takes Javi's body to dump it somewhere, while Powell cleans up the funeral home and deals with Anna's body. After Ivan leaves the hospital and dumps Javi on the side of the road, he returns the trash where he found it. Powell scrubs Anna's body clean of any evidence, covers her with a fresh sheet, and places her back in line with the other bodies. Powell gathers his things and waits for Ivan. When he hears Anna coughing, he goes over to her, uncovers her, and tells her to pretend she's dead. She opens her eyes and looks at him. Ivan comes back, and Powell quickly covers Anna, then tells Ivan to leave because everything is taken care of. Ivan walks over to Anna for a final look and asks if Powell cleaned her up well. The two leave, but before reaching the elevator, Ivan realizes he's missing his card. Powell tries to convince him not to go back to the funeral home. When they enter, they see Anna on her feet. Ivan attacks Powell, trying to kill him, but stops, kicking him down and preparing to leave. Then Anna appears and stabs Ivan repeatedly. She waits until he dies. Powell approaches, telling her they were about to leave and that she shouldn't have done it, but Anna looks at him and stabs him again and again. And with that, the movie concludes. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe so as to watch our latest uploads.